Hello, hello, and welcome to the Become Your Magic Power Hour. I'm definitely going to give you some time to tune in and get on and start tuning. For those of you, if this is your first day, I am so glad to have you a part of the Power Hour in which we figure out how and what we need to become our magic. What is the abracadabra? What are those different lessons and those different treats that we can tap into for us to show up in our story, show up in our glory, to actually turn those dreams into reality. So anyway, like I said, as we're waiting for people to come on, we're going to start with a song, right? So if you guys have been having a good day, I hope you guys have been having a good day. How many of you guys saw yesterday? How many of you guys was able to watch yesterday's live? Hey, cuz. Hey, pumpkin. Where it says, hey, cuz, put your name in where you put, hey, cuz, so I can know who you are. Because if you don't allow StreamYard to have access to your comments, I can't really see who you are in my news feed. But I do want to say, come on now, that's TT. That's my pumpkin right there. So anyway, I just want y'all to know that, we as individuals, as souls, we have a lot on our plate. We are assigned to a whole lot. We have a lot that we are responsible for, right? There's a lot that we are capable of, right? Our capacity levels. And so this is, hey, Nancy. So this is really about us figuring out what is our abracadabra. And so yesterday, if you tuned in yesterday, like I said, I hope you didn't miss it. But if you did, you can always go back and rewatch yesterday's message. That was at 12. So for now on, we'll be at 7 p.m. That's my good time. That's the time that feeds my spirit. Make sure if you guys are on that you are liking and sharing. This is showing up in Facebook and YouTube. So if you have some friends that are not on Facebook and you know they can use a power hour, you know they can use some inspiration, something to get them to recognize just how amazing they are and how they can become their magic, please tell them they could tune in from YouTube. And that's I Choose Me, #NoMoreExcuses group page. And so I just want to say that I'm just so excited to be alive in 2020. I'm just so excited to just be in the season of being able to even be pushing toward more dreams, right? Because at the end of the day, the desire, the passion, all of that is having the energy, the seeds, right? The seeds of thought, of positive thought that inspires us to keep on going, keep on getting up, keep on understanding, as I said yesterday, that yes, it's something that we look forward to. Yes, it's something that we are interested in. But what we have to understand is that after the yes is the process into the promise. And so we got to be more willing to do more with our yes, right? Do more with who we are. Matter of fact, okay, so we at 7:03. As you know, this is an hour-long show. Okay, so that's Nancy. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Bo. How are you doing? How are you doing? Like I said, please like, share, tag a friend. Let me find myself on here. I was going to play my song, but then I forgot to get the little other device from the kids. So I may have to just not play the song today, but that's okay. How are you guys doing, though, outside of that? How have you guys been doing with kids being home? How many people are homeschooling / we got help from the teachers, though, for the most part. But it's so important that we get this energy, right? So the power hour is just about us plugging back in to get a little bit more fuel, a refill, right? How you say a pit stop. Is my refill station, is a pit stop. It's going to allow us to have the energy, to have the, just to recharge, to keep on going on. So this is Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is about you. It's about you figuring out what is it that I need more to make sure that I'm living in the life of my dreams. And so if you know some people who are still working on their dreams, I'm one of them. So this is about us working together. This is about us becoming our magic together. This is about us using each other, empowering each other, and really motivating each other into those dream lives that we have been dreaming about, that we know we want, that we desire, but it's going to require a little bit more. I also want to tell you that starting on tomorrow, if you are somebody who has become their magic, and it doesn't mean that life is exactly where you want it to be. We will have 3 segments. They're 15-minute segments. Of course, we're always going to have the I am. And I speak about that at the last 15 minutes before we close out the show. What is the I am for the day? We also, at the beginning, it's about us really just saying hello, celebrating each other. I think so much of the time is us actually just missing out on just being able to fellowship with one another, right? To converse, to share our hellos, or share our love stories, right? And so I want us to really start to celebrate positive. There are so many places online and offline in your personal lives where we have to deal with negative. And so this is about positivity only. This is about sharing all the positive things. I mean, we go out of our way to share negative information. We go out of our way to put negative energy on so many different things. Why is it? Is because we've been taught to just, complain. We have been bred in complaining. And so what I want this to be about is us not complaining, but us celebrating. Not what we went through, but the fact that we made it out, right? Not who we wish we could have been, but who we actually are. The fact that we are here, that we are alive, that we are breathing, that we still have an opportunity to what? To get it right. We still have an opportunity to what? Show up in our power, right? It's mandatory for us to know that it all starts with who we are, what we want, what we desire. And so today's message, let's see. Hold on. Let me not start. Let me find my live so I can share it. If you guys are looking and you haven't shared it yet, sharing is caring. Share. Here I go. I found myself. Let me make sure my volume's up. Make sure I remember to put it in my group and share it on my page. If you have groups that you are a part of, and no worries. Let me see. Share it to my group. Got it. Okay. All right, that's it. I'm focused. I'm done. Hello, and we are back. And so as I was saying, this is the power hour. I'm going to start using my thing right here. This is my timer so I can make sure I don't go over my time because I'm long-winded. Most of you guys already know that, right? So anyway, today's message, are you ready for what is going to help us become our magic even more? So today's topic, because I want to be clear. Today we got a special thing. Today is Walk by Faith. And I'm sure many of you have heard so many different examples and ways of thinking of walk by faith. But I assure you, if you would give me just a little bit of your time, that I will definitely implant a whole nother perspective of walk by faith. And so we understand that walking by faith means to move forward by the seed of thought. To walk by faith. So yesterday we spoke about getting your yes, right? Becoming your magic is understanding that when you go to God and you say, hey, God, these are some things, this is what I want, right? And we get our yes, right? That God puts it in our timeline. The next step is for us to what? To go through the process of the yes. Going through the process of the yes is a thinking about, like I said, go back to another example would be if you ask for a job, right? If you went to apply for a job, like we said yesterday, and somebody says, and the person says, yes, you can have the job. What is your next action step after you heard the word yes? Your action step is to what? Prepare for the job, prepare to get in, to clock in, to go get the right attire to wear, to show up every day for 2 weeks until your next payday is, right? And to continuously clock into that yes, right? Because yes is the promise. It is not the process, right? Yes means that you can have it. But after you hear the yes, it's about you what? Moving in that order. And so today is walk by faith, right? Because when we think about faith, we have to understand that faith is the seed of thought. Faith is that idea, right? You are faithful in your walk because you understand that you have to move forward in your seed of thought in order to become whoever it is that you are, in order to be whatever it is that God called you to be, right? You have to walk by faith, right? And so to walk into something is to what? Be in action. So I'm going to tell you where we were sitting around talking, as we often do. Me and my husband was at his cousin's house. We was talking, and we started to begin to talk about, he was speaking about his wife and something that she had endured, and he was saying that she had embolism in the back of her head, and it turned out that she had a blood clot, right, that traveled up her leg, and because the vein flowed from the leg up to the back of the neck, it clotted out. It didn't pass through, but luckily, praise God, everything was fine, and she's healthy. But when he began to speak about the blood clot in the back of her head, right, and how the traveling up her veins, right, was how, it forms, right? And so we know a blood clot is how did I break it down? Blood clots can form and travel to your lungs and your heart, right? That means that they got together, got in a group, clogged up, and it stops it from moving. And sometimes it moves through travel and it can harm you, right? Those major arteries, right? But if it doesn't move through, it can block the flow or the travel. And so when I decided to look up, what causes blood clots? What is the thing that makes you get a blood clot? They said to try to prevent blood clots would be to be in movement, to be in action, right? And so most times if you hear people ever going through certain type of injuries that cause them to be bedridden, that they come in and they move them around, right? They get the flow of the legs. They get the flow of that stuff going. And so when I thought about the veins that allows the blood to travel through, right, up to your brain, up to your heart, up to your lungs, those vital parts of you, it requires that there be some movement, right? In order for you to not create that place where you are handicapped, where you are hindered, where you are hurting, you are responsible to what? Be in movement, be in action. So then when I begin to think about walk by faith, now to walk is to be in movement, to be in action, right? And faith is that seed of thought, right? That thing that you want, you believe God for. So I have faith for it, and I now have to walk in it to receive it. So when I was thinking about life, I wanted to think about, okay, so what are the blood clots in our life? What are the things that stop us from walking into that thought, walking into that dream, walking into that desire? What does it mean for us to walk by faith? And I began to think about the spiritual clots that we endure and that we go through day to day that stops us from believing in that seed, right? And so because we haven't been moving in our spiritual belief and our spiritual gifts and our spiritual thoughts, what ends up happening is that those things in life become, our spiritual pains become a clot in our body, in our flesh, and how we move, right? And so you want to get some ideas of spiritual clots. Molestation is a spiritual clot, right? It is that thing that stops you from feeling worthy. It's that thing that may stop your spirit from getting past relationships, right? Getting past self-worth, right? Seeing yourself, honoring yourself. You want to know another clot in life is abandonment. People speak of stories of being abandoned in life, whether it was your parents that abandoned you, whether it was your friends that abandoned you, whether it was your mate that you felt abandoned you. That is a spiritual clot that you may have in your life, right? Another idea of a spiritual clot is being abused, right? And so that is a spiritual clot, right? That is that thing, that form that is stopping the flow of belief, of faith to flow into where? Into your mindset, right? Because you got to walk by faith. That means you have to be in action in the dream that you have for yourself. And if life showed up for you and you have been clotted in those situations, those spiritual things that have formed and have stop your blood from flowing, stop your dreams from going, stop you from moving in life, right? And so every day is a battle. It's an uphill climb because you are holding on to the things that you cannot change because you haven't realized that those spiritual clots, it is time for them to thin, right? It is time for God to allow those things to thin out, because what I learned is when you form a clot in your life, right? When you form a clot in your body, they give you blood thinners, right? To release it. You want to know what the blood thinners are? The blood thinners are the evidence that you made it. The blood thinners are the testimonies that you get to see when somebody removes the shame and get in their lane and tells you about what they've been through, right? The people who allow their mess to age in order for them to have a message. These are the blood thinners in life. The people who show up in their truth, in their authenticity, right? Not trying to pretend to be, but honoring the walk that they took, honoring the things that required them, honoring what was required of them after they got their yes, after they got their answer, after they got that experience, after they realized that it was all about how we move. It is all about how we allow stuff to stop us, to hinder us. It is about if we sit down on our dreams because of what happened to us. That's why it's I choose me, hashtag no more excuses. I will no longer have excuses to why I'm not worthy. I will no longer allow those clots of spiritual pain to stop me from showing up. Why? Because God has given me thinners in life. He has given me reminders of how special it is. He has given me reminders of what it costs to be great. He has given me reminders that we are all the evidence of what we desire, what we want, what we need, right? That the faith is in our seed of thought. And that you have to walk it out. You don't have to talk it out. You have to walk it out because your leg is connected to your brain. And so once that seed goes here, you got to get in action. You got to get in action for what it is that you say that you want. You got to be in action because you understand how powerful you are. And that when you plug into the source, which is God, that you can what? Then you can multiply. You can multiply that impact. You can multiply that infection that is you. You can multiply the faith that you have. And so if we are going to walk by faith, we have to understand that we got to get moving on our thoughts, get moving on our dreams, get moving on our desires, and understand that in order for us to become our magic, we got to show up in who we have been created to be. We got to show up in the glory. We got to show up in the assignment, and we got to be real with our stories. We got to dig deep into our strength. In order for you to stop your clotting, right? You got to actually know that you are in need. You have to acknowledge the fact that you're not moving as much as you used to, right? You have to acknowledge the fact that you don't feel the same way you used to feel. You know, accountability is the first step to becoming your magic, right? Because the abracadabra is in the belief, right? The belief in what I believe, right? The magician looks at you because they believe that what they can do and how fast they can move and how they can create something with a tool, right? Because every magician has a wand. And so your wand is that spiritual, that soul's posture. Your wand is what you know about yourself. Your wand is your ability to change right before somebody's eyes, right? By committing to your emotional control. You know, a lot of the times our issues and our results in everything in life is about us not being emotionally in control of how we react, how we show up. And so that emotional control is mandatory, right? It is about us understanding that we dictate where we end up by how we react to where we are right now. We dictate how life goes and how life grows according to how we enter a room, how we enter a situation, how we walk in our faith, right? How we allow our discrepancies and our pains and those low valley moments to not change us, right? To not steal our joy, but to only get us to understand that we're on our way up, because we understand that valleys are the first step to the mountaintops, and that in order for me to rise and climb a mountain, I must go through a valley. It is the beginning part of the journey. And so when I feel myself in those dark places, I get myself to understand that while the sun may not be shining, it's still shining on the outside of this building that I walk into. It's still shining on the outside of this promise that I'm attached to, right? And so I understand that I have to go through these things in order to grow through these things, in order to be deserving of what is waiting for me once I get to the top of the mountain. To be able to not tell myself I don't deserve what I got. To be able to not tell myself I'm not worthy to be loved. I'm not worthy to be seen. I'm not worthy to keep on going, right? Because it's a trust relationship. I have faith because I believe in the seeds that are in my head. I understand that everything that we experience, everything that we see, everything that we are in the presence of was just a thought. Faith is just a thought of who you can be, a thought of where you can go, a thought of what you can have, a thought of the relationships you can embody. You know, the levels you can reach. That's where that faith starts at, right? But we are told to walk by faith. That means to be in movement toward that seed of thought that you have, that desire that you are longing for, you know? And so you got to start asking yourself, especially in this season, because it is time out for sitting down and then waiting for God to bring what it is you're waiting on, right? Because we already established that when grandma says, yes, you can have the banana, grandma's not going to go get the banana for you. You ask for permission. So God said, yes, you can be great. Yes, you are on assignment. Yes, your breath matters. Yes, you are special. Yes, you are one of a kind. He already said yes to all of that. The thing is your follow through. Because you ask, now how do you follow through with the answer? How do you follow through with the promise? You follow through by getting in action, by walking by faith, right? I got an action for my guests. So when grandma said, yes, I can have the banana, I walked to get the banana. When mom and daddy said, yes, I can go to the party didn't come to me. I walked. So the seed of thought was the party in which I wanted to attend. And my action step was first to go ask my parents if I can go. And then my parents said, yes, God said yes to you. But after my parents said yes about the party, I had to get prepared for the party. I had to get my clothes out. I had to get ready. I had to get in alignment for what I asked for. And so if you're willing to ask God, can I? Are you willing to go get what he said yes to? Or are you waiting for him to now bring it to you? What action have you taken for your own life? How many things are on that vision board that you wrote 5 years ago and you have yet to put one plan in place to tackle, to get, to receive it? We are in trust relationships with ourselves right now. And it's time out with the pretending, right? We got to start showing up for ourselves. We got to start becoming our magic, right? We're waiting for some mysterious, supernatural force to come out of nowhere. And God said, I made you the force. I made you the force. I created energy and power in you. I gave you a seed of thought. I put you on assignment, right? Not in assignment, because in assignment is the job you go to. On assignment is who you are, what your impact will look like. What will you leave behind, right? How will people be multiplied because you showed up? How will God's soul print, your soul print, which is your God piece, how will that show up in the world long after you're gone? Will it be in a book you wrote? Will it be in a conversation you had? Will it be in the way you showed up for somebody? Will it be in the way you remembered who showed up for you? What will your soul print look like? Will it look like abracadabra? Will they say about you? Oh my goodness. I don't know who they became. It's unbelievable, right? Because you're magic. And so when you are ashamed, right, about what people say, oh, well, remember how you used to be, and you better say abracadabra. And you better thank God that I found my tool, right? That I found my wine. Because you don't want me to be who I used to be, right? And so when people want to throw about your used to be's and your yesterdays and who it took for you to be who you are, you better look them in the eye and you better say abracadabra. It is because I became my supernatural force that I am here. It is because I saw in me what God already knew about me. It is because I showed up and walked into the dream, the thought that I had for myself. It was because when they said I couldn't have it, I went for it anyway, right? I had to prove to them what God already told me. You are God's secret. You are a very special secret of his. Each and every one of us are. You know why? Because God gave us each a piece of him. A special, special piece. And he wants you to know that when you are willing, able, and ready to tell people about the secrets that God has said about you, to share with them just how amazing you are, just how much you were willing to transform because you wanted what you said you wanted, because you were willing to become your magic, because you knew that the things that you went through was what made you so amazing. It wasn't in spite of, it was because of where you've been, that you are magic. It is because of who God called you to be that you are magic. It is because of what is attached to your namesake that you are magic. It is because you showed up for you that you are magic. And it is because you got up every single time. It is because of your yesterday that you get to live in the magic today. You are your abracadabra. You are that peace, that extra supernatural peace. God said when you find you find him, because he left each of us a piece of him, a perfect piece. And all these imperfect actions that you hide behind and you claim shame for is the very things that make you a perfect God piece. It is your spiritual definition, your composition. Those things that you've been through is because of your peace. It is because of your assignment. It is because you are worthy, pre-qualified, destined for greatness, powerful beyond measures, necessary, right? And so how necessary are we? How necessary have we become? I want you to understand that walking by faith means that I will no longer allow the spiritual clocks to stop me from moving. I will start to move more so I'm not hindered by my inability to see that God has never left me nor forsake me, but instead he has been standing in front of me with his hands out saying, you can walk. You can walk. I often think about, being a mom of 5, when me and my husband went out, children, my firstborn especially, because you always remember just the first time you do everything, right? But when my firstborn was beginning to walk and she was about 10 months, right? Let me tell you something. That was a scary day because nobody told me that kids walked at 10 months, right? It's your first time. You don't know everything because most conversations your parents was too busy to have with you because, they just didn't have time. It was a full life. And so me having S's and she was walking at 10 months. One of the things that I remembered is when she began to walk, unless my husband was there and we were sitting on the floor with our legs locked in and having her walk from each of us, one to the other, just to see her, master the steps and the walking, how exciting that was, I started to think about God and how he is our Father and how often he is standing there, right? Like you're beginning to walk. You're beginning to see the secret I know about you. You're beginning to walk in your magic. You're beginning to become your abracadabra. And God is just standing there with his hands like this in front of you, right? Because you think God is behind you or he's next to you. He can't catch you like that. If you've ever had the privilege of seeing a child begin to walk, it is the eyes. It is that glow when they look you right in your eye and they take a step towards you. And you know what that step is? That step is because they trust you. That step is because you are standing right there looking at them, convincing them that if they could just keep their eyes on you, that they will forget that they're walking, that before long they will be right in your arms where they belong because you knew what they can do. Because they first saw in themselves that, right? Because the secret was Essence found out that she could stand up and hold her balance. And then she found out that she had the courage to take a step. And then she found out that there was trust relationship built. So she was willing to walk forward. Why? Because she knew that if she fell, that we would catch her. Because she knew that if we looked at her and focused on her, and she knew that we had her best interests at heart, that she would never stop coming. That's what God wants you to do. He wants you to never stop coming. He wants you to walk by faith. He wants you to remember the secrets he told you. He wants you to remember the visions that he's placed in you. He wants you to remember just how amazing you are. He wants you to trust the relationship that you're in. He wants you to keep on coming, to keep on walking, to forget about all the things that you think make you less than, but understand that they are the greatest parts of you, that they are the reason why he wake you up every day. They are the reason why he sets you on your journey. They are the reason why he still gives you breath. Because he knows that while you have spiritual clocks, while you have been afraid to move, that he will replace it with some thinners, right? Some emotional thinners, some people in your life that's going to allow you to see just how good God is. Some people in your life that's going to be the evidence of his glory, of the story, because they were courageous enough to stand up, because they were courageous enough to take a step, because they were courageous enough to walk by faith. Are you courageous enough, to walk by faith? To see his glory, to manifest the dream he had for you, to be a living representation, an example of just what you can be when you believe in what's inside. I cannot stop thinking about all the many things that we take for granted, which started with a vision, faith. Most of us go to jobs because somebody had faith. That faith to start that business that allows you to have some sense of stability in your life, right? It took that person's faith and showing up for you to be faithful in the job that you are going to. You had to be faithful to step out and become an entrepreneur when you didn't know who and how your bills are going to get paid. Every day I show up, every day I create, or every day I do, I recognize that if I don't sell a book, if I don't sell a t-shirt, if I don't sell a program, then my kids won't eat. Why? Because I put my faith in me. My husband put his faith in him, right? Because if he doesn't go out there and cater, if he doesn't go out there and do HVAC, if he doesn't go out there and cook, sell his flour, whatever it is that he has been faithful over and walked into, so he has the evidence for, we would not be able to feed our family. And so the faith of somebody else, the faith of this desk right here, oh my God, the faith of this desk that I'm sitting at, the faith of somebody to think that they can create a desk. I'm sure this ain't the first person who created that desk, but what I'm saying is that they created a blueprint for somebody to follow through and to take to a whole nother level, right? And so the faith of that is what makes it so great. The faith of somebody being able to say, I want to create something with legs that we can sit at, that we can dine at, that we can eat at, that we can do work at. That was faith put into works, because now you're at a table, right? That was faith put into works. So now I have a shirt, lipstick, the very many things that we take for granted was somebody's evidence of faith. Because faith creates the world. Faith creates dreams. Faith creates love. Faith creates stability. Faith creates the life of your dreams. That's what faith can do. The I Choose Me movement started on faith. But guess what? I walked by faith. And so I dreamed 8 years ago on a vision board to create a movement called I Choose Me, #No More Excuses. I am not here because of faith. I'm here because I walked by faith, because I got into movement. I got into action for my attraction. And so becoming your magic is realizing that you are your own faith walk. And that before we can expect people to have faith in us, that we first have to have faith in ourselves. I have to believe myself for it in order for you to understand my belief. Think about Jesus. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine the faith he had to be able to perform miracles? Oh, they heard about him. How many things God told you about you? If Jesus didn't decide to walk into the seed of thought that was planted, would we even be here? Absolutely not. It took a faith walk for him to be able to be who he became for us. He had to walk by faith into his assignment. And so I want us to understand that we are capable and we are necessary. And that until you can have the faith of the first person who was healed by Jesus, right? The other day I was talking to my husband and I was thinking about, faith. Faith. What does it mean to have faith? And, they say faith is evidence of things hoped for and things not seen, right? So to have faith in something means that you didn't see it. Not in the real eye, in the spiritual eye, right? And so when I thought about Jesus, I thought about not when everybody was, we always hear the stories about how, once they heard that Jesus was actually the healer, right? Because he had the evidence, right? Somebody can run and say, he healed me. The woman with the issue of blood, she was evidence because when she touched the hem of his garment, she was healed. Her issue of blood stopped. He rose Lazarus from the dead. These are all different stories that we can go through as the evidence, but I don't want to go there. Because that's not real faith, right? The people who came after they heard about Jesus aren't the people who represent faith. The first person. What about that first person that went to Jesus, right? Because it's like Jesus knew his power. He knew what he could do, right? His mom already said, turn that water into wine, honey. Before his time, right? So he knew what his power was, right? He knew he was faithful over the seed that was planted. He was faithful over who they called. He was so faithful that he walked into his calling. He walked into the secrets that God had about him, right? He walked right into that. But we're still going to go back to that first person who made Jesus as important in the beginning to where we are today. That first person who had faith that walked to Jesus, who had no idea what would happen when Jesus touched them. Let's think about somebody with so much power. If anybody ever hear about being in a hospital, the defibrillator, right? When somebody is about to die, they put the defibrillator on them and they say clear. They want nobody else. There's so much power in there that it's going to give the opposite effect. So if you're gone, it's going to bring you back. If you're to life and you're touching it, it can knock you out, right? So we got Jesus, Yeshua, right? With so much power that if he touched you, he could knock you out. Now you had somebody who needed and desired what he had so bad that they walked to him with no evidence of nobody else yet being touched by him. Now, in that moment, when Jesus touched that first person, he could have touched them and they could have knocked them out, right? They could have been gone. But their faith superseded their fears. Come on now. Do you believe that the first person who was faithful wasn't fearful? He absolutely, or she absolutely was scared, was afraid. But their faith superseded their fear. And because they were willing to walk up to Jesus and touch him and be healed, they became the evidence for other people to be able to come and get knowledge of his power. So every time you tell your testimony, come on now, I want you to go with me here. Every time you remove the shame and get in your lane, every time you stand up in your story to give God the glory, you are representing the evidence for somebody else to go get healed, for somebody else to go try God, for somebody else to walk by faith, for somebody else to dream a bigger dream for themselves, for somebody else to follow through with the thought that God had for them, with the dream that God placed in them. And so, as I said, you got to be faithful enough to become the example, to become the representation, to become your magic. You got to be faithful. And so I just want you to know that in order for you to walk by faith, you got to let go of those blood clots, those spiritual blood clots, those pains, those valleys, those disappointments. Those things are clogging you up. It is stopping you from believing that you are worthy. It is stopping you from believing that you have what it takes. It is stopping you from believing that you can flow. But the way to stop those clots from forming in your life is to get moving on what you desire. It's to get moving so that you can continually remind yourself just how amazing you are, just how worthy you are, just how you are your abracadabra. And so when you feel shame over yesterday, when you feel shame over what you didn't get right the first time, when you feel shame enough to hide, to be in a corner, to surrender to your fears, when you feel that, I want you to say abracadabra, because it's just that quick. It is just a mere change of thought. God said to renew your mind. It's abracadabra. It is a word. It is a renewal of your thought. It is a renewal of the seeds that is planted in your head. It is a renewal of who you think you can be or who you should be. It is your magic. And so the supernatural force that is you is about you understanding that once you renew your mind, once you realize that you have the power to change whatever it is, you have the power to change wherever you go. You have the power to be whoever you desire to be. When you show up for you, when you walk by faith, when you recognize that in order to manifest the seed of thought, you got to walk it out. You got to walk into that dream. You got to walk into that story. You got to build a storyline. You got to build a process. You got to deliver on the promise. God said yes. Now you got to walk by faith. You got to walk into it. You got to prepare for your yes. You got to process that yes. Because when grandma said yes, you got to go get it. When somebody asks you to marry them, okay, ladies out there, you've been asked to marry some men. Come on now. When you said yes, you wasn't immediately married, were you? You had to get up off your knee if you were proposing, right? You had to get up, take that ring if you was accepted, and then you had to what? You had to walk into your destiny. You had to prepare the wedding. You had to get everything together for that yes. So I've come to tell you that God said yes. But now it's up to you to walk by faith. Why? Because you deserve it. And so we are 45 minutes in. We are in the last 15 minutes. This is where I have time to come and check what you have been saying. Abracadabra, damn it. I don't know who said it, honey, but let me tell you, that's it. Abracadabra. And that's what I want you to start saying in your life. I want you to say abracadabra. Okay? Okay. So, as we know, today, we're in the last 15 minutes of the Become Your Magic Power Hour. If you're just tuning in, let me tell you something. You done missed some good stuff. I can't wait to go back and listen to it, right? Because I said, as God whispers to me, I share it with you, but we are all on a journey. Every day I have to be faithful. Every day I have to dream. Every day I have to become my abracadabra. Every day I have to tell myself that it doesn't matter that I was molested. It doesn't matter that I felt like my childhood was harder than most. It doesn't matter that I had a baby at 20. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter those things. What matters is that I showed up today. That at 40 years old, I could look at that little girl that was molested and say, everything you've been through was because of who I am today. Abracadabra. You know what they're going to say off the mic, right? Abracadabra. But anyway, let's find out what our I am for the night is so that you can concentrate, go on, work with your I am. Hold on. So for those of you that don't know, you can go to PreciousPauline.com, get your own game. These are the ABCs of how special I am. Come on now. So in case you don't have a reminder every day, I wrote 52 different reminders of why you am special. So let me help you. So let me put this camera down so y'all can see that I'm going to pick one of these cards. And yesterday was I am intuitive. So I'm never going to put the old card back. So I am intuitive with yesterday. If you did not catch yesterday live, please go back and catch it, honey. It was the yes, honey. If you want to hear more in detail about the yes, ooh, man, let me see. Let me show y'all what we picked. We picked I am amazing. Ain't that perfect? Ain't that perfect? Ain't that perfect? Ain't that perfect? Yeah, I said ain't. Ain't it perfect? I am amazing. And so what I am amazing means, it means that I'm special. I'm divine. I'm inclined to elevate. I'm above normal. I'm past average. I'm one of a kind. I am amazing. I'm amazing because I got up. I'm amazing because I didn't let it stop me. I'm amazing because I'm not my scars. I'm amazing because my beauty flows from the inside out, not the outside in. I'm amazing because I know the secret that God has about me. Are you amazing? Do you know the secrets that God has about you? And are you ready and willing to go tell the world what God told you about you? Are you ready and willing to abracadabra them into your next best existence? To no longer write vision boards that have no process and no direction, but to be intentional about everything you ask God for. Because you understand that when He says yes, the next step is for you to walk by faith. And so today, our special message is, I am amazing. Come on now. Come on. Come on. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And so that's our responsibility, right? It is our duty. So I don't want to leave this thing without, we're going to listen to, come on now, I Choose Me, #No More Excuses song. As we close out, because we are heading to the end of the hour, it has been 50 minutes. I just want you to know that I hope that this hour has inspired you. I hope it has touched you. I hope it has reminded you of your magic. I hope it has instilled in you that God is so pleased with you and that He is so ready and so excited about who you know yourself to be. He is so excited about this season, this 2020 vision season, right? Gaining clarity into God's favor, honey. That is where we are. This is the pandemic, but the pandemic can mean something different to you than somebody else. The question is, what will you say the pandemic meant to you? Amazon will say it made him a trillionaire. Come on now. Small businesses will say it made them a millionaire. I followed a lady who taught me how to bling and start my own boutique. Such a gift Miss Yvette Murtha is. Let me tell you something. She has made, 700 grand already this year from what? Sharing her gifts, her talents, impacting, enlightening other people so that I can be my own boss. Come on now. God got something for you. The question is, do you want it? The question is, how amazing do you believe you are? And how deserving are you of it? You are so far above deserving. So far above deserving. And it's about time that we get into action. It is about time that we recognize just how amazing we are. I can't say it enough. It is a relay race and somebody is relying on you to become your magic, to find different ways to show up in your abracadabra. You know why I say abracadabra? If you're somebody that cuts somebody out in a minute, that somebody is coming for you, and you gain the power to control your emotional state, to not react. That's abracadabra. Because they're going to say, girl, normally you flip all the way out, but you didn't this time. Listen, I'm working on that abracadabra. My husband will tell you, honey, she is a perfect God piece, but far from perfect flesh. We all are work in progress, right? And so sometimes I don't know how to control my emotional state, but I do now because I have a tool, and my tool is abracadabra. And so I don't care about yesterday. I'm more concerned about today, right? Because I pledge to embrace who I am today, love who I was yesterday in order to inspire who I will become tomorrow. That is the slogan, baby. That is who we are. I mean, that is our motto, right? So, as I was saying, it is about you. And so we're going to sing this song, y'all. Let me find it. Why? Because you matter. Let's see. If we got any comments. Hello. The answer. Yes, Kia. Yes, boo. So anyway, like I said, let me make sure I get my little speaker on so we can hear it. But I want you to listen to these words, because these words are the blueprint to you becoming your magic. These words are abracadabra pieces that you can use, right? Because abracadabra is just that tool that little magician used to change everything in a moment, in an instance, right? And so what are the tools that you use in order to what? Get that feeling, that instant change, right? That miracle, right? That instant gratification. What does that look like? What is that? This song is gonna drive you in. Gotcha. Hold on. I'm so glad that you have spent your time with me. I do not take it for granted. I am honored. I am, most importantly, I feel so blessed to be standing in my assignment. The reason why I show up, even with the things that I have on my plate, is because I want us all, you hear me? I want us all to rise. That there is plenty of room at the top. That Down here is crowded because we got cars and we got building and we got so much taking up space. But when you look up to the sky, honey, that's empty. That means that God wants you to know that there is a lane and a space for each and every one of us, that we don't have to fight with each other, that we don't got to pull each other down, that it is our responsibility to lift one another up, because when one of us shows up, we get one more piece to the puzzle. When one of us shows up, we change one more extra life. And so I'm not here to pull you down. I'm here to lift you up, because if you can reach one, that's one more light in a dark room. And that's our responsibility, to become our magic by realizing that we can never turn on anybody else's light, but we can provide enough light for them to find their switch. So it is our duty, our responsibility to stay lit. And that's what being magic is all about. It's that supernatural force that is lit, honey. That is lit. Like I told you, that's why I got to put myself on a timer, honey, because I will go from one place to another. I choose me song. Where you at? Here we go. Get this volume up. And I want y'all to listen to these words, my love. Have you ever found out just where you could be? Ever took the time to discover what lies inside thee? All the treasures you were born with, the world needs to see. It will give you the courage to dare to just be. I choose me. No more excuses. I choose me. I'm enough. I choose me. More than worthy. I choose me. I own my stuff. I choose me. No more excuses. Come on now. I'm enough. I choose more than worthy. More than worthy. I own my stuff. Have you ever loved yourself more than you can stand? Ever took the time to walk? Come on now. On uncharted land. Because you knew what you offered was one of a kind. If you never bring your gift, then what would we find? I choose. Come on now, no more excuses. I'm enough. I'm enough. I choose. More than worthy. More than worthy. I own my stuff. Own my stuff. Have you ever dreamed that life would only bring joy? Would only bring joy. Only to discover that. The pain brings me more. More of those questions answered. To what makes me great. To what makes me great. When I learn to digest the good and bad on my plate. Come on now. No more excuses. Come on, y'all. I'm enough. More than worthy. I own my stuff. The secret is that through all these things, after pain comes triumph. When you stay in your lane, you realize the lessons was blessings on the journey to you, because your purpose was found in the things you went through. I choose me. Come on now, this is the I choose me anthem, y'all. Y'all need to learn these words. I'm enough. If you like the words or want the words, please message me or put a comment and I will send you the words so you can learn it. Come on now. It's the shape of your mold. Come on now. You're a message of inspiration, baby. Love goes everything. Come on now. And all that you do in order to give. That's right. It must first be in you, baby. Your dreams will be fulfilled. Come on now. Hey, Michelle. Oh, love you. Come on now. Will be the fuel for your flight. Come on now. No more excuses. I'm enough. I choose me. More than worthy, I choose me. I own my stuff. And so I want you to own your stuff by becoming your magic. If you notice the scrolling at the bottom, it is because while I sow in you, I give you the opportunity to sow back in me. And so if you would want to plant a seed that will help further my dreams, my vision, and becoming my magic, please, you can Cash App at $P-Words. You can PayPal at PreciousPWords at AOL.com, or you can just get an Abracadabra trinket at PreciousPaulin.com. There are books, children's books, calendars, games, you name it, programs, right? There is something for everybody at every part in your life, okay? Also, if you like design, like the shirt I'm wearing, fill my cup, okay? Listen, I have my breast cancer wellness shirts in. We're going into October. You can go to I Choose Me blingboutique.company.site and you can definitely find these items. I will be going live actually later on tonight because I have some sales, because I have some new stuff coming in. So I will be selling some t-shirts because we're going into cold season for $20 each. You hear me? $20 and free shipping just for my live on tonight. So if you catch me tonight, I will be live so I can go through this clearance so that I can get out this stuff because I got some bad stuff that is coming in so that we can what? We can wear on the outside how we feel on the inside, y'all. I am grateful. I want you to remember that you can never turn on anybody else's light, but you can provide enough light for them to find their switch. So it is your responsibility to stay lit in this world so somebody can find their way out of the darkness. You hear me? So remember, it is up to you to become your magic. This has been the Become Your Magic Power Hour with your queen of soul-stirring inspiration, the prophetic poet herself, Miss Precious Paulin. It is an honor to be in the room with you. I only pray that you would tap into your abracadabra as often as you can. Love you guys. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow at 7 p.m. for your next power hour, because before we end this year, we are going to be in position. Love you guys. Take care of those souls and see you later. Bye-bye. Thank you, love. Thank you, love. Thank you, love. Yes. I got to feed on these words. I need them. I am. I'm going to make sure you guys get these words so we can sing together. And don't forget, starting tomorrow, if you're interested in joining the show, I can send you a link and you can become a part of that 15-minute segment in which we celebrate somebody who has become their magic. Doesn't mean you arrive. It means that you are celebrating all of your yesterdays because you are here today. And I need you because you are the testimonies. I alone can't show them how magical God is. It takes all of us. Let's come together and let's make an impact in this world. Because you have a soul print that somebody is waiting on. Love you guys. Bye-bye.